So one is, let's say if the experience is greater than 35 years and the experience is less than 35 years. I wanted to categorize my employees into two different categories. One is based on their experience. One is greater than 35 years and less than 35 years. So to categorize your data, you can use conditional statements. Okay. To create new variables, based on existing variables. So while categorizing the data, or you can also create, while categorizing the data, you can create some new variables based on the existing variables. You can create some new variables based on existing variables. For example, let's say now I wanted to create a flag in this data set. If the salary value is greater than $100,000, I wanted to mark it as 1. If the salary value is less than $100,000, I wanted to mark it as 0. When we can create some flags, when what we can create some new variables based on the existing variables information. And filter the data. So if you see, in where statement, we discussed where statement, right? Where statement is used to filter the data or read part of the data, right? In the same way, we can also use some conditional statements. There are other conditional statements. Using those, we can filter the data. Okay. And where statement is also part of conditional statement only. Where statement, whatever we discussed earlier, where statement is also part of conditional statement only. And can create multiple SAS data sets at a time. So far we have discussed how to create one data set at a time. One data set at a time, in the sense we use, in the data statement we wrote only one output data set name, right? But using conditional statements we can create multiple data sets at a time. For example, let's say you want all the male records in one data set and all the female records into another data set. You want to read all the male records and send it into male data set, and all the female records you wanted to read and send it into female data set. So we can create multiple SAS data sets at a time. Okay. Now, let's see let's see the examples one after another. Let's see all these areas. So how to group our data, how to categorize our data. Let's see. Let's see. So we'll use this table only. SAS user.payroll master. We have date of birth, date of hire, employee ID, gender information, job code information, and salary information. Now what I want to do is I want to create some flags for this salary variable. Based on this salary variable, I wanted to create some flags. So create a flag which contains values 1 and 0. Okay. So one represents salary value, or you can say salary greater than $100,000, and 0 represents salary value less than $100,000. This is greater than or equal to $100,000, and this is less than $100,000. Now I want to create a flag. In which I need to have values ones and zeros. Okay. So 1 represents salary value. If the salary value is greater than $100,000, I have to flag it as 1. And if the salary value is less than $100,000, I have to flag it as 0. I have to categorize my data now based on salary variable. So how to do it? Where is our data? Our data is in SAS user the payroll master. So as usual, as you know the syntax, how to read the data, how to read the input data, data which is in input data set, we use set statement, right? So in set statement, I'll write the input statement, input data set name, okay? And in the output data set name, I'll write like salary underscore categories, okay? So next, okay? So what here, how to categorize our data? We categorize our data using if statement, if statement, if statement. Using if statement, we categorize our data. If statement. So the syntax for if statement is data followed by output data set name, set input data set name. Here you have to write if condition or conditions, then expression. Okay. Okay. If condition, then expression. If you want two categories, let's say you want to divide or group or categorize your variable into two different categories, you have to use if else condition. If you want to categorize only into one category, let's say you wanted to just filter the data, then you can use if instead of where. And if you want to categorize your data into two different categories, you have to use if else statement. I'll explain you. One, give me 1 minute. You'll understand all these things. Let's say here. Let me explain. If gender equals to male, run. Okay. If gender equals to male, so what it does here? So simply it works like where statement. It works like where statement. I'm trying to read only male data. So what it does is it will read only male data. It will read only male data. Here in this case, if I simply write if condition, just condition in the if statement, if I just write only condition without using any expression, just condition, then it works like where. But there is a difference between if statement and where statement. There is difference between if statement and where statement. Where statement will filter the data at the time of reading from the input data set, but if statement will filter the data while writing the data into the output. So the difference between where and if is where will restrict while reading the data. While reading the data itself, it will restrict. But when we use if, it will read all the data. While writing the record into the output data set, it will apply filter. Where statement, what it does is it will check for the condition. If it is wrong, it will restrict there itself. It will not read from the input data set. But if statement, it will read from the input data set, but while writing the data into the output data set, it will filter it. Okay, that's one difference. There are other differences as well. We'll discuss differences between if and where. It's a question actually. So we'll discuss differences between if and where once we are done with all the if conditional statements. Okay. So if I mention only condition, then it will work like where statement. Simply it will filter the data. But our objective here is to create a flag, right? So let me write it here, salary underscore flag. Let me write, if salary greater than $100,000, then I wanted to create a variable called flag equals to 1. Let's say what I'm trying to do here is I'm using a single if statement. So I'm saying the syntax for if statement is if followed by condition. This is my condition. If salary value is greater than $100,000, then what you wanted to do, what action you wanted to take. If this condition is true, what action you wanted to take. What I wanted to do, I wanted to create a variable called flag. This variable is not existing in the input variable. This is the new variable which we are creating. Okay. If this condition is true, I want to perform this action. What is that action? I want to create a new variable called flag and populate 1. Populate 1. Okay. Now let me execute this. I have executed, right? If you see the data, there are ones in some places, right? There are ones only in some records. There are ones only for some records. What about the other things? It didn't do anything. Why it didn't do anything? We didn't tell anything, right? What we said, if the salary value is greater than $100,000, please create a flag and populate value 1. But for rest of the values, we didn't tell anything, right? What we have to do, we didn't tell, right? So you can, if you use only one condition and one expression here, or if you say, if you use only one if statement without else statement, if you are not using else statement, then you'll not be able to populate the values here. Actually, you'll not be able to populate the values here. You'll not be able to populate values for all the records. The reason is, here you have given one condition. If this condition is true, then you wanted to create a flag and you wanted to populate value 1. But you need to tell the else part as well. If this condition is not true, what you have to do, you need to tell it. See, if you look at all the records, all these salary values will not satisfy this condition, might not satisfy this condition. It's not mandatory that all the salary values needs to satisfy this condition. But here you're writing a condition only for the cases, for true cases. Means whenever the condition is true, you're saying to do something, some action you wanted to perform. But when the condition is false, you're not telling anything, right? So you have to tell that. So for that you have to write else statement. If the condition is true, then create flag and populate 1. If the condition is not true, then what you wanted to do? So I want to perform an action saying that flag equals to 0. If this condition is true, I want to create a flag and I want to populate 1 into this variable. If this condition is not true, what you wanted to do, you have to tell to SAS. If that condition is not true, I wanted to execute this expression. What is this expression? Flag equals to 0. Means I need to populate a 0 into flag variable. Now let me execute this. So you have zeros and ones. Zeros and ones. Okay. Now you tell me, let me give you a task now. I want to create experience category. Based on their experience, I wanted to create, what I want is, let's say, you have to create a variable called experience category. Okay. Create a variable experience category. Okay. So what values we have to populate in it is, one is 35 plus years, YRS 35 plus. Second one is 35 minus. So I have to create a variable called experience category, and in experience category I need to have these two values. Okay, 35 plus years and 35 minus years. So can anyone guide me how to do this? First, what we have to calculate? Yeah, so we have to calculate first experience, right? Let's calculate experience. So data equals to, sorry, data not equals to, I'm sorry, data followed by output data set name. In the set statement we need to write the input data set name. So SAS user dot payroll master, right? If, or let's calculate first experience. Experience equals to today's date, today's date minus date of hire, right? So divide this with 365.25, and whatever result you get here, either use in function or round function. Okay, now let's see the result till here. So now you have experience, right? Now you have experience ready. Now let's create categories. If experience is greater than 35 years, right, then what is the action you wanted to take? Experience category equals to 35 plus years, else experience category equals to 35 minus years, right? So this is what I wanted to do. So first you have to calculate experience, and you have to find out this, right? Here, based on again this experience, we have experience category 35 minus and 35 plus. Now later on, for our analysis, what we do is we have a procedure called top 3 generally. And so so we apply something like this, and we'll be able to come to know, okay, there are out of total 148 employees, there are 17 employees whose experience is greater than 35 years, and out of 148 employees, 131 employees is having experience less than 35 years. Or else you can read 88% of my employees are 35 years less experience, or 11% of my employees are more than 35 years of experience. And we can do some analysis later on. I mean, we'll learn all these things later on. But how this will help you? I'm trying to say. I mean, these categories will help you in your modeling area. I mean, which variables you have to consider, which variables you should not consider for your equation and all. So we'll see that later. Now you saw how to create two categories, right? Let's categorize our data into three different categories. Let's say uh, now based on experience, I wanted to categorize my data into three different categories. Okay, I wanted to categorize into three different categories. Let's say, so create a variable experience category, same thing, but here with three categories. One is uh, less than 25 years, Okay, less than 25 years, 25 to 35 years, 25 to 35 years, and 35 plus. Now I want to create three different categories. Okay, 25 plus, 25 minus 20, less than 25, 25 to 35, 35 plus. So when you have three groups, then you have to use, I mean, your syntax will change a little bit. You have three groups. The second statement, say in the if, I mean, what we do is it we don't, I mean, this else expression will change. Instead of else, we write else if, and the last one is else expression. So if there are three categories, you have to write if, else if, and else. If, else if, else. If there are three categories, you have to write if statement followed by else if statement followed by else statement. If you have two categories, you simply write if statement followed by else statement. If you have three categories, you need to write if statement followed by else if statement followed by else statement. If you have four categories, then you have to write if followed by else if followed by one more else if. The last one would be always else. The first one would be if statement, last one would be else statement. In between if and else statements, you'll have else if statements. Okay. Now the same thing here. If salary, what you'll write? If experience less than 25 years, experience less than 25 years, then what you have to do? Experience category would be less than 25, right? Next, else if experience, yeah, what should I write here? Let's see, between 25 and 35, right? Okay, then is 25 to 35 years, right? Else experience category equals to 35 plus, right? 35 plus years. I'll execute this program and let's observe the log. I've executed. Let's go to the log. See here. What's the error again? Between and we cannot use in if statement. Only in where we can use. Between and operator we cannot use it in if statement. Like operator also we cannot use it with if statement. Okay, so what we have to do is have to use, yes, if experience, or you can simply write experience should be rise between 25 or 35, or less than, it should be 30. This one equals to 30. You can write it in this way. Experience is in between 25 and 35, or you can write experience greater than 25, else if experience greater than 25 and experience less than 35. You can write, you can split and you can write it. Instead of this, you can also write experience greater than equals to 25 and experience less than equals to 35. You can write in this way as well. It's up to you. Both are same. I can write this or this. Anything is fine. I'll just put that statement into comments. Let me execute this. Now observe the output. Did you get a proper output? So in case of 35 plus years, you got the entire string. But in case of 25 to 35, it truncated after A. Okay. And in case of less than 25 years, you got the entire output. Okay. No, it's not about 8. See here you have 8, more than 8 only. Yes. But in case of 25 to 35 years, we didn't get the entire value. Why could you anyone tell me the reason for this? See, actually here we didn't get the proper output. It truncated some of the characters. Why? What could be the reason? Any guess? Experience category is a new variable, right? And SAS doesn't know what is the length that it has to take by default. So what it will do is by default, it will always take the length of first value you assign, first category value you assign. See, experience category, this is a new variable we are trying to create. And what is the first value we are assigning to experience category? Less than 25 years. And it will pick this length. It will calculate the length of this first value and it will assign the length for this variable. And if the length is more than this, it will truncate. Since this 25 to 35 years, it's more than this length, right? So what we have to do is, in such cases, there is a statement called length statement. Now using length statement, we can register the length for any new variable created in a data set. Length statement is used to register the length Let's register the length for experience category. Okay. So before creating this experience category, I'll just register the length. So length length followed by experience category. Okay. So it's a character variable, so I'll give dollar, and length, let me give some $20. Now let me execute this program. So now you get the proper output. Okay. Now you'll get the proper output. Any questions so far? Now let me give you one more task. Now what I want is, I want to calculate, let's say you wanted to declare bonus to your employees. You wanted to give some bonus. Or let's say you wanted to give some hike. So here my conditions are, let's say I want to give a bonus, or let's say you wanted to give hike based on experience. Let's say you want to give hike based on experience, or bonus, let's say bonus based on experience. So what we want to calculate bonus based on experience, and also give height based on experience. Two things I wanted to calculate. One is I wanted to give bonus as well as height. Okay, and I wanted to calculate both bonus and height experience based on experience only. Okay, here my conditions are, let's say exp category and bonus and height. The experience category is let's say more than some 25 years. If experience is greater than 25 years, sorry, less than 25 years, one is less than 25 years, not 25, let's say 35 years. Then I want to give bonus experience value divided by some 2, whatever I get. Okay, whatever I get, I want to take that percentage. Let's say experience you got is 40 years. This is less than 35, right? So let's say your experience is 30 years. So the percentage of bonus I give it is 30 by 3. It's 10%. I want to give 10% bonus. Okay. And height, the experience divided by some 4%. By 4, whatever you get, I wanted to give that percent. Or simply you can say experience percentage, whatever you get, experience, let's say your experience is 30 years. So in 30, I wanted to calculate, I wanted to divide it by 2. So let's say 15, and whatever result I get, in that result, I wanted to write something like this. So in the hike, I wanted to declare something like, let's say your experience is 30 years. So 30 divided by 2. 30 divided by 2 would be 15. So 15 percent. No, not this one. What I want to do is I want to calculate. Okay, so we'll take simple example for the time. So experience by 2, whatever we get, I wanted to do this. Or experience by 4. So in other cases, let's say your experience is greater than 35 years. Greater than or equals to 35 years. Okay. I want to calculate bonus, something like experience divided by 2 percentage. Okay. Experience by 3 percentage. And bonus and hike are calculated on salary. Okay. Now let's write a program for this. Let's write a program. Okay. So data, some output data set name, bonus and hike. Set, where is our input? We have it in SAS user dot payroll master. Okay. Okay. Now next, what we have to do is we have to write if conditions. We have to write if statement, right? If experience, how you get experience? Today of minus date of hire divided by 365, right? By 365.25, and you will take the either integer portion or round portion. If this value is greater than, I'm not creating any variable now. I'm simply using that expression in the condition. I'm using the condition straight away. Earlier I used here. I calculated experience separately, and I have used that in the if statement. Now I'm directly using that expression in the condition. So if this value is less than 35 years, then what do you want to do? Then you want to calculate bonus, right? So bonus equals to again is whatever you get this. Okay, you will get some value and you have to divide this value with 3, right? And here you have to take salary into, can I write 3 by 100 percentage, right? Is it correct? Okay. And what else? Else if, sorry, it's the last one, right? Else bonus equals to by 2. Okay, sorry, height here will calculate. Again, so if experience is greater than, less than, right? Less than. So then height. I mean, if you don't, I mean, you can create a variable directly experience and you can use that, but this is also another alternative. But it's always advisable to create variable only. That would be the better. I mean, we don't want to get things complicated. I'm just saying. So, I mean, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's simply create a variable and use this experience. Okay, define. Let me.
Ram, you need to calculate. Then we need to keep experience.
Sorry, I missed something. Yeah, Sriram, what you are asking something? Why we need to?
When bonus you put that experience field, right? That is not needed, right? Then bonus is equal to salary.
Here you're talking.
Oh yes, there salary
Salary.
into experience by 200.
Uh, okay, so
For calculating the bonus, we need that what is the experience, right? But for in the bonus, there is no need to include experience, right?
no. Here, my question is, see, if experience by 20% on salary. Here, see here, if the experience is less than
Okay.
35 years, I want to give bonus. What is how much I have to give bonus? I wanted to give experience by 3. Whatever value I get, I need to take that percentage and I need to apply on salary.
Okay. Okay, then
Okay.
fine. Yeah. So,
So here what I'm
okay,
trying, let's say your experience is 30 years. So 30 by, you have to convert into percentages. 30 by 3, it would be 10, right? 30 by 3 would be 10. So I wanted to convert into percentage. So I've directly given 300. Or else you can take experience by 3 and you have to convert again. You have to divide the entire value by 100. Right?
100.
So instead of that, directly I have given experience by 300.
Okay, okay, Rahul, fine.
There's your parents. Sorry? No, but here we are calculating bonus separately, height separately. Okay, we have only two categories. For each variable, we have only two categories. When we have two categories, we have only if and else statements. Okay, and sorry, you're asking something. Yeah, we'll see next. There is another alternative for that. So here you can apply your int round all functions. Let's say here you wanted to round it off. So round off You can apply this round function. And if you want to apply, if you want to convert this into dollars, what do you have to do? You have to use format statement, right? Format new variable. Bonus is one variable which we calculated, and height. So for both, I wanted to apply dollar some nine dot whatever. Yeah, if you want decimal, then you have to specify the bit as well. Okay. Let's say total salary received at the end of the year. If I ask, I mean, maybe next year, or let's say, let's forget about hike. Total salary would be salary plus bonus. Let's say total salary equals to salary plus bonus. Let's say you wanted to create a new variable called total salary received at the end of that financial year. Total salary equals to salary plus bonus. You can calculate in this way. So what it does is it will create a new variable called total salary. Okay. So total salary is nothing but salary plus bonus. We have to separate with semicolon here inside. No, no, here you are talking here. I mean between then, I mean before then. No, 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 you cannot. You cannot. Okay. So here if I execute this program, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create one more variable, total salary. Total salary is nothing but salary plus bonus. Okay. Okay. Now, if you look at closely observe this program, see this condition is true when I mean for both the variables, bonus and height. What is the condition? Experience. I mean, in this for this case, if the experience is this is yes, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, see, experience is less than 30. If the experience is less than 35 years, we wanted to perform this act. We wanted to evaluate this expression as well as this expression, right? So for the same condition, you wanted to evaluate multiple expressions. For the same condition, you wanted to evaluate multiple expressions in this case. So in such scenarios, no need of writing. Let's say you have uh, you have to create 100 variables if the condition is if one condition is true. Let's for example, uh, if experience is less than 35, what I want to do is I want to calculate bonus, I want to calculate hike, I want to calculate total salary, and let's say you wanted to calculate these three at a time. I don't want to write, I mean, three different statements. I don't want to write, I mean, I don't want to increase my length of the code. Okay, you can still I mean, you can still decrease the code here using along with if statement. We use do block. Let's see the syntax first, and we'll go to the for program. If condition, or it can be conditions, more than one condition as well, then then do. What you want to do? If that condition is true, what actions you wanted to perform? You have to write all those actions here. Expression 1, expression 2, expression 3, any expression. If that condition is true, what actions or what evaluate, what actions you wanted to perform, that you have to mention here. And once you are done with all your conditions, just put it in. You have to end the do. You have to end the do block. And if that condition is not true, then what you have to do? The same thing. Okay. So let me take this same program. Here, what's our condition? Experience less than 35. Then what we wanted to do? We wanted to calculate, or you can simply write it there. We wanted to calculate bonus as well as hike, right? Okay. Bonus, hike. Okay. So what I'm trying to do here is, if this condition is true, actually you have to calculate all these expressions. You have to calculate bonus, you have to calculate hike, you have to calculate total salary. Okay. So instead of writing in this way, instead of writing if experience less than 35, then calculate bonus. If experience less than 35, calculate so and so. Instead of writing multiple times the same condition, okay. So you can write it in this way. If this condition is true, what all actions you wanted to perform or what all expressions you wanted to execute, just mention in the do block. If condition, then do. What do you wanted to do? I want to calculate bonus, I want to calculate hike, and I wanted to calculate total salary. Once you are done with all the actions, just you need to use end keyword. Means you have to end the do block with end keyword. If this condition is not true, then what actions you wanted to perform? So I want to calculate again bonus, salary, okay. And since you are calculating total salary in both the cases, so here also you are calculating total salary, here also you are calculating total salary. Simply you can put that outside. Means this total salary doesn't depend on any experience, right? Anyway you will calculate here bonus, you will calculate here hike. So you can put the total salary outside, not a problem. Last time I explained something else. Okay. So same thing. Let's say you have more than if the salary is 30 plus, let's say it's greater than 30, then you have to calculate bonus, you have to calculate variable pay, you have to calculate total amount received, hike, and also revised salary. Okay, let's say you wanted to calculate bonus, variable pay, total amount received, hike, and revised salary. So you have to calculate total 5 variables if the experience is greater than 30. In the same way, if the experience is less than 30, the same thing. So bonus is nothing but there is some condition. Variable pay also there is some condition. Total amount received is nothing but salary plus bonus plus variable pay. and hike, there is some condition for hike, and for revised salary would be current salary plus hike, right? So ideally, your statements will increase actually if you use if else statements. See here, if first you calculated experience. If experience is greater than guys, are you able to hear? Sriram?
I'm able to hear.
Okay.
Yeah, able to hear.
Okay. So first I calculated experience, and if the experience is greater than 30, I keep on, see, there are a lot of things. First I calculated experience category, bonus, variable pay, hike. I have created a lot of things, right? But in all these cases, the condition is same. Condition is experience greater than 30. So instead of writing these many if else statements, it's better to write, it's better to use do block and write all the statements in one go. If experience is greater than 30, what variables you wanted to calculate, what all variables you wanted to calculate, just put it in the do block. This would be the ideal way of writing code. Even though you do it in the above, I mean in this fashion, it's fine. But from readability standpoint, or if, I mean anyone can easily go through this and easily understand the code actually, right? Else if you can write else if do. If you have, I mean, let's say you have three different categories, and then here you'll have if condition then do. Here you'll have else if condition then do. If it is the last one, else do. That's it. I think we have covered all this. Okay. Next, how to create multiple SaaS data. I mean, let me ask everyone whether they understand. Uh, one, yeah, Kalyan, tell me. Uh-huh. Yeah, a do block needs to, you have to end a do block with end keyword. You have to end a do block with end keyword, in the end. So the syntax for this one is here. Data output data set name, set input data set name, if condition, then do all the expressions. You have to put it here, and once you're done with the expressions, you need to end the block with end keyword. And if it is the last, I mean, category, then else do all the expressions, and you need to end this do block with end keyword and run. Okay. Yes. Yeah, we can do in the do again. Let's say you have one more condition. Let's say here again, once checking that condition, you wanted to check one more condition. Yes, you can do that. Okay. uh, yes, someone has, I think Venu has asked. Any questions?
No, bro.
Venu?
No,
No,
bro.
no.
Vishwajit? Okay, let's see how to create multiple SaaS datasets at a time. Multiple SaaS datasets at a time. So our here so the same thing, SaaS user.payroll master. Now I want to send all my mail records, mail information, male population into a dataset called male, and female population into a dataset called female. Okay. So what the syntax for that one is If same thing, if conditions only we use, but there is a something called output keyword. Using we can using output we can redirect that record into any data set. So the syntax for that one is, see, in the data statement you need to mention two output data set names. If you want to create two output data set names or two output data sets, you have to mention two output data set names. If you want to create three, then you have to mention three output data set names. If you want to create four, you have to mention four output data set names. For example, for data, let's say male and female. I want to create male dataset, female dataset. My input data is in sans user dot payroll master. So my conditions are, if gender equals to male, then if this condition is true, to which dataset I need to send that record? Into male, right? Into male dataset. So then I have to redirect to male, right? So there is a keyword called output. We have to use output. If this condition is true, please send that output to male data set. Okay, if this condition is true, please send that record or that observation to male data set. So this is the name of the data set. If this condition is not true, then output that record into, send that record into female data set. So, simple. In each statement, we use output keyword. Output followed by name of the data set. Here instead of expression, they give output keyword followed by name of the data set. Now if I execute this, in work we'll have, so we have male and female. If I open female, you'll have only female records, and if I open male, you will have only male records. Okay. Low income group, medium income group, and high income group. Okay. Let's say if salary is, I wanted to create three data sets. If salary less than equals to $50,000, then output LIG, low income group. Else if salary greater than 50,000 and salary less than or equals to 100,000, then output MIG, else output HIG. Sorry? Yeah, we can put it in one. Like we can simply write here 50,000 and $100,000. Now if I execute this, it creates three data sets, LIG, MIG and HIG, and if this condition is true, that observation will be redirected into this data set. Okay. If this condition is true, then that observation will be redirected into this data set. And if this condition is, if these two conditions are failing, then it will redirect that record into this data set. See, LIG, HIG, MIG. Take any of these records. HIG. Oh, whatever. Let's go to log. What is the error? Oh, it's not high, it's HIG, right? HIG. Okay, let me open HIG. You have all see all the salary values greater than $100,000. So you can create multiple SaaS data sets at a time based on your requirement. You can create multiple SaaS data sets at a time. Okay, got it? Uh, okay. Now let me give you a task. Maybe you can do that at your home. Uh, there is something called, I mean, task related to this. I mean, how this will help you in real time. Let me talk. I mean, this is conditional statement. You can put this one in your resume as well. This project RFM, recency, frequency, monitoring. R stands for recency, F stands for frequency, and M stands for monitoring. Very popular technique which is used in database marketing sites and for in the banks as well as in the retail industries. They use this technique, RFM analysis. So RFM. See, let me tell you. I gave you some data. Let's say you have customers data, something like mm, let's say let me put it in Excel and I'll explain you so that you can do it at home. You can create your own data sets and you can work on this. Let's say we have customer ID. For example, let's say you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's say you have oh, but I mean you cannot work on that topic. There is one more topic which I have to explain. Okay, let me try to explain this concept. What exactly this means, so that we'll see it later, anyways. So, let's say you wanted to identify your best customers and your work. You wanted to apply some. You wanted to identify your best customers, your worst customers, your loyal customers. Okay, maybe I can pull that project. Nice. Mhm. Okay. Let's say you have given a project to work on. Uh, Sorry, similar. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Similar. Okay. Cool. So I have worked on one of the projects actually when I was in Genpact. I did this, and we use this technique a lot in the banking industry as well. Let me explain you this. So basically, this project is to understand the customer buying behavior, and we can define the market segments based on that. Okay, we wanted to understand the customer buying behavior using RFMs. So R stands for recency, F stands for frequency, M stands for monitoring. So recency in the sense how recently a customer has visited your store. Let's say you're working for a retail company. Let's say you're working for a Walmart. So I want to find out how recently a customer has visited the store, or what was his last purchase date, or from banking standpoint, when was his last transaction date using his credit card. When he was, I mean, when was the last transaction that was made by his credit card? Okay. F stands for how frequently that guy is purchasing, or how frequently you are using your credit card from banking standpoint, and what is the amount spent by a customer. I mean, I think are you aware of PLCC cards, private label credit cards? Private label credit cards. So in US and India as well, we have that concept, private label. When you say private label credit cards, let's say you're working for, or you have a card with uh, Target Corporation or JCPenney or Shares or any retail store, let's say Walmart. So it's similar to credit card, but you can buy product only in Walmart. Let's say you have a Walmart credit card, you can buy product only in Walmart. Like if the credit cards what we have, we can buy anywhere in any store, right? Any outlet. But you'll have private label credit cards. Means when I say private label credit card, it means you can buy the product only in that particular store. In India, Shoppers Stop offers private label credit cards. They'll give limit actually. I mean, we have not only Shoppers Stop, Bajaj. If you buy any product on EMI, this Bajaj guys, Bajaj Electronics, they give a credit card to you. Let's say like 1 lakh limit or 1.5 or 2 lakh, they'll give some credit card, and you can, from next time onwards, you can go to any Bajaj Electronics store, you can swipe that card. No need of providing the documents again, just swipe that card. So it's a PLCC credit card, private label credit card. I mean, you can buy the products only in that particular store. Okay. So here I wanted to, sorry. Okay. Uh-huh. So you can buy anything in Amazon. It's a PLCC because on the card you'll have PLCs, and they'll have tie up with other vendors, either Visa or Master or anything. They'll have some tie up. So frequency is number of purchases made, or number of times. Number of purchases made in the store. Monetary is amount spent by a customer. Okay. Now my objectives are, I want to identify my best customers. I want to identify who are my worst customers, and we wanted to know which customers we just lost and which ones we are about to lose. I mean, let's say for the last 18 months, no one has done any crime. You have a credit card, HDFC Bank, those guys want to do some analysis. For the last, they wanted to take last 1 year time frame or 18 months of data, and they want to do some analysis. It can be a 1 year or 18 months or 2 years based on your requirement. So let's say for the last 18 months, a customer has not used his credit card. It means we are about to lose a customer or we have already lost, right? So we wanted to do it programmatically to identify or to answer all these questions. Identify your best customers, identify your worst customers, and to know which customers we just lost and which ones we are about to lose, to identify our loyal customers. Loyal means who often spend little, but they come very frequently to our store and they buy the product. But they spend little, but they come very often. And to target customers who are willing to spend more at our store. Some questions. So if we can segment if we can segment the customer, then we can plan and execute an accurate and result-oriented marketing campaigns to whom you have to target. Let's say there are worst customers. You have to convert them into best. So what actions you have to take to convert them into best? So you can plan all your campaigns if you can segment. I mean, this is customer segmentation concept actually. How do you segment your customers? The customer segmentation. So if you can plan, if you can properly segment your customer, then no need of see while sending the mails or when you're targeting the customer, you need to understand the customers. If you can understand your customer, then you can reduce your cost actually. I mean, let's say I'm sending a catalog to a customer who never responds. So no use to send a catalog every month to that customer who never responds, right? So you have to identify which customers might respond, which customers might not respond. Let's say you are targeting Spanish customers who are living in US. Spanish people, they prefer Spanish catalog. I mean the language, they prefer Spanish language. Generally, they don't prefer English. If you send a catalog which is written in English, they might read, but if you send a catalog which is in Spanish language, they prefer more. And let's say you're targeting women with all men products. What is the use? So no use, right? So proper targeting is very important, right? So what we do is we try to, let me show you. We wanted to answer all these questions. Best customers, loyal customers, big spenders, new spenders, loyal viewers. I mean there is some definition for that. Lost customers, almost lost, scourgers, deadbeats, and there is meaning at the end. Best customers are nothing but these are the customers that bought recently, buy often, and spend a lot. So you have to identify who bought very recently and who spend a lot and who buy very frequently. So how do you do this? What we do is we let's say we consider 18 months of data, 0 to 6 months, 7 to 12 months, and 12 plus. For frequency as well, we put some conditions. You can divide into different buckets. Not a problem. Frequency, let's say 2 times, 5 times, and 5 plus. 5 plus. The same way monitoring. Let's say $500, some $1,000, 1,000 plus. Now I wanted to give rankings for R. Rank for R. Let's say 1, 2, 3. So here 3, 2, 1. You also, or else let me do one thing. Let me give it here 5 plus. Let me give it here 5 and let me give it here 2. So again 1, 2, 3. And here let me interchange these two. Okay, so okay, now I first of all for each customer I need to find these. I need to create these buckets: recency bucket, frequency bucket, and monetary bucket. So based on what? Based on their last transaction date, I have to find out the last transaction made by each customer, and later on I need to categorize into these buckets. So in which category he falls, whether he falls into 0 to 6 months bucket, or this is okay, or 7 to 12 months bucket, or 12 plus months bucket. Means it does, what it means is, let's say a customer has purchased a product on 1st Jan 2016. In which category he falls? He falls into 7 to 12 months bucket, right? It's more than 6 months. So he falls under 7 to 12 months bucket. And let's say you have purchased 30th March 2016. It falls under 0 to 6 months bucket. So you have to first pull all the last transactions made by each customer, and once you are done with that, you have to create buckets in this fashion. So you have to use if else conditions. You have to want to create buckets, you have to use if else statements. And frequency, how many times each customer has visited the store or he bought the product. He has bought the product. So you first of all you need to calculate these values, how many times each customer has uh, purchased the product, and later on again use if else conditions and create a frequency bucket. And also for monetary, based on their amount spent, we have to create a bucket for buckets in the sense it's a categories. Recency bucket in the sense different categories. In that bucket you will have different categories. So you'll assign a score, some score or something like this. And later on you create some RFM segments, or you can say RFM buckets or whatever. Like let's say 111. Let's say 11. This is 222, right? And this is 333. So total, how many combinations I'll have this RFM segments? I have 3 ranks for recency, 3 ranks for monetary, and 3 ranks for frequency. So I'll have total 27 combinations, like 111, 112, 113, right? 121, 122, sorry, 122, and 123. The same way you have 211, 212, 213, something like this, right? You'll have like 333. You'll have 27 combinations. What do you mean by 111? 111 means guy has purchased. He purchased most recently, very recently. It's an assumption in the marketing, like the most recently who has visited is likely to buy again. It's an assumption here. Here the assumption is by the guy who has visited more recently in our store is likely to visit once again. It's an assumption. Okay, and he bought more than 5 times product, and he has spent more than $100, and his score would be 111. We classify these customers as best customers. These conditions will vary from business to business. I'm just giving you a layman example. These conditions might vary. Maybe it's not $1,000, it might be some $5,000 or $100,000, whatever. Okay, now coming to 333, he has he it's more than 12 months he has visited our store, and he has in the last 12 months or 18 months, let's say he has only bought 2 times, and he has spent less than $500. He's our worst customer. So we'll divide our customers into these buckets. Okay, and after that again, let's say a customer who has visited. Let me ask you a question. The customer has purchased, the time since his last purchase is 5 months. Okay, and he has purchased 6 times. Okay, and he had spent $999. So which category he belongs to? And he is the best customer or worst customer? Well, for $1 you
Best
cannot.
customer.
Yeah, for $1 you cannot tell him that. You cannot make him as a worst
Yeah.
customer, right? So you need to know later on which
Mm.
segments you have to bin them, which segments you have to combine. Maybe you have to combine all these segments into one group. For just $1 you cannot ignore him, or let's say for just one order you cannot. Let's say he has spent $1,500, and he has last visit was 3 months back, and he has ordered so far 4 times. You cannot simply throw him and say him as a worst customer. So you need to later on bin. There is a concept called binning, which buckets you have to group, you need to identify, right? And coming to in the same way, worst segments as well, you'll identify your worst segments. Now later on what we did is, what promotional offers we have sent in the last 18 months, we pulled all those information for these best customers. Let's say you have identified these are the best customers, and we saw what promotional offers we have given to these customers in the last 18 months, and what promotional offers we have given to the worst customers in the last 18 months. And in future what we do is, we we try to overlay the offers given to best customers to worst now. We try to give them, maybe these guys These guys have not received proper offers. That's the reason the penetration has not happened properly. Means they did come to our store and buy. So we try to give a good offers, and we'll observe in next 6 months, 12 years how these customers are behaving, whether they are coming to our store and buying a product or not. So how we will come to know? Unless we segment, unless we cannot, if we segment the data, then only we'll come to know, right? Who are our best, who are our worst, who are our loyal customers. Okay, and also it answers a lot of questions if you segment this. I mean, for example, let's say there will be some customers who are new spenders. New spenders are the new customers that spend a lot on their first order. I mean, once in a time you'll visit a store. So if you can pull those information, you can target those customers. Okay, I mean you can give some promotional offers. If you revisit our store next time when you visit our store, we'll give a discount of some $100. Okay, and lost customers used to buy frequently from you, and at one point of time they spend a lot with you, but they have stopped. For example, let's say in the last 18 months their frequency is number of times they have purchased is 6 times, and they have spent some $100,000, but the time since last purchase is some 17 months. Maybe we are losing that customer. Earlier, if he used to buy more frequently, now it's almost 17 months he has not bought any product. We might lose that customer. So you have to take some actions. So you have to contact him through some email or mail or through some promotional offers. So this segmentation will help us in designing the campaigns and to whom to target, which offers to whom we have to give it, and all those things. It will help us actually. I mean, this is one small ad hoc project which we got, and I have worked on that long back. I mean, I'll explain you in detail about this, like once you are done with other concepts as well. Why I have explained this concept is this: if conditional statements use a lot to segment your data into various buckets. To segment into various buckets, we use conditional statements a lot. Okay. So based on first you calculate the expressions, like we have calculated experience, right? Based on experience, we created other buckets. In the same way, in real time, we also calculate a lot of variables, and based on that variables, we create buckets. When I say bucket, into various groups. Okay. So there is a concept. I mean, in the interview, actually in the analytics space they use this keyword, but bucketization or buckets, creating various buckets, not groups. They use buckets. Okay. Anyways, we'll see all these RFM concepts. I mean, there's people who are interested in the banking industry will talk about projects related to banking. People who are interested in retail industry will talk about projects related to retail industry. And you can, I mean, listen both the projects. It's up to you, and to acquire the domain knowledge. And this concept we use in banking as well as in retail industry. We can use it in banking also for better designing the campaigns. Okay, we use it. And in Google also you have a lot of information. If you type RFM analysis, you'll get a lot of material if you want to explore more. I mean, any questions? I almost took 15 minutes to explain this. I hope you understood at least, I mean, how this concept that will help you in real time, means the if conditional statements are where you can use. Sriram, Satish, Venu, any questions?
No, Ram, no.
At least you got some fair idea. I mean, how, I mean, where to use all this.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, then I'll stop for the day. It's 8:35. So I'll stop for the day. Okay. Okay then. So I hope you started practicing. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes, Ram.
Yeah. Okay then. Chalo then. Bye bye.
Bye.
Have a
Have a
good
nice
rest
day.
of the day.